That's why I keep stressing the importance of like ensuring that that there is like clear, coherent messaging. What? Biden shot a video? This is not real.
Americans, I want to take a moment to address some of the hateful shit you've been talking about me. Many of you have said I am suffering from brain worms or that I have applesauce for brains. Well,
dude, if Biden had this level of mental faculties, he would literally not need to drop out. Like, if he was popping off like this, no one would be demanding he drop out. You know what I mean?
I won't mince words, so here it is. Fuck you. You're all a bunch of faggots. End of quote. Repeat the line. So enjoy President Cackles or President Booty Juice. I really don't give two fucks anymore. Biden out. My fellow Americans.
Down to the fucking F word, dude. Down to the F word. If he said those things, if he said that, he'd be winning every state. You know he would say it too. He's like the Pope. Both Catholic. Both Catholic. Both say the F word. Biden was showing a new internal polling and the numbers were grim. He was not just trailing in all 6 critical swing states, but collapsing in places like Virginia and New Mexico where Democrats had not planned on needing to spend massive resources to win. So one thing to remember is that Biden did not, this was not a fucking coup d'etat. And the reason that Kamala Harris is like not even all that popular at this point is because of Biden. Make no mistake. Biden's selfishness and refusal to drop out of the fucking race until it was far too goddamn late is why the Democrats' starting point is still worse than it should be. So don't let any of these fucking Biden dead enders like turn around and try to chirp at you too. Saturday night decision that ended Biden's re-election campaign. Early Saturday, Biden told senior aides that it was full steam ahead for the campaign, but later that evening, he had changed his mind following a long discussion with his 2 closest aides. Steve Ricchetti, who had been with Biden since his days in the Senate, drove to see the president at his house on the Delaware shore on Friday. Mike Donilon arrived on Saturday, 2 men, both of whom had been by Biden's side during key decisions about whether to seek the presidency in 2016 and 2020, sat at a distance from the president, still testing positive for COVID. The funniest is that he still has COVID. Elizabeth Warren is on CNN. Here, let's see what Elizabeth Warren has to say.
5 million people have seen their student loan debt canceled and going after junk fees and these giant corporations that are gouging people at the grocery store and at the gas pump. Biggest climate package in the history of the world, paid for by a 15% minimum corporate tax on these billionaire corporations. So he's got amazing accomplishments, truly transformative. But today is about what Joe Biden did. He gave America a lesson in patriotism. Donald Trump thinks that to be a leader, it's all about himself and preening in front of the cameras and everyone has to bow down to him. Joe Biden reminded us that true patriotism, true leadership is putting the people of the United States of America first. And that's what this president has done. I admire that.
You were quick to endorse Vice President Harris for the Democratic presidential nomination. We know she's been making calls all day, shoring up support among delegates and super delegates such as yourself. Have you spoken with her?
I don't talk about private conversations, but let me do say this about Kamala. She is someone who is ready to step up, to bring our party together, to take on Donald Trump toe to toe, and to win in November. She's ready for that.
If she does end up at the top of the ticket, whom might you want her to consider as her running mate?
You know, I actually want to hear this from the vice president herself. Let her figure out what she wants to sort through this, because Joe Biden treated
Oh my God.
Vice President Harris like a partner with real respect, someone that he had a working relationship.
Also, this is the type of shit that like liberals want to get behind too. Like, you can't make that about Joe Biden. Like saying Kamala Harris is brat. Like, that's the kind of shit that also plays a role in the minds of like a lot of the youth and a lot of the people that don't like really give a shit about anything but vibes. Like, I think that all of that like free media that you get, all of the momentum that you get from like all the momentum that you get from like having a candidate that's a little bit younger, like it changes the dynamic so much. I think it's a good thing. It'll take some time for the polls to like actually reflect. It's not going to be overnight, but I suspect if, and this is a very big if, I suspect if the Democratic Party can genuinely reshape the narrative around this election, position it as like, you know, women's reproductive rights were taken away. We're going to get that back. We're going to claw that shit back. We're going to continue with like bold progressive momentum. Donald Trump wants to do mass deportations of migrants. They're fucking crazy Nazi shit. Like, are you saying Kamala will actually get memed in the presidency? No. No. In a close race, everything matters though. And this isn't memeing. This is like celebrities backing candidates and stuff openly. I don't think that you would do that for Joe Biden until the very last moment. And maybe not even at all. Joe Biden, Joe Manchin can suck my dick.
Engaged in sexual assault. That former prosecutor, Kamala Harris, is going to be the right person to hold Donald Trump accountable. I think she's got it. She's ready to go. She can bring us together. She can take it to Donald Trump, and she can win.
She ran against you and President Biden for president in 2020. Her campaign did not make it very far. Yours lasted months longer than hers. Are you sure that she's ready for this challenge?
Look, she has been vice president for 3.5 years now. She's been on the front lines. She is now battle tested and ready to go. I don't have any doubts about Kamala Harris's ability to win. And more importantly, I don't have any doubts about Kamala Harris's abilities to govern as president of our United States of America.
Senator Elizabeth Warren from the great Commonwealth of Massachusetts, a pleasure. Thank you so much for joining.
Just after the Biden-Trump debate here on CNN last month, I had this exchange with Vice President Harris.
Yes, there was a slow start, but it was a strong finish. And what became very clear through the course of the night is that Joe Biden is fighting on behalf of the American people, on substance, on policy, on performance. Joe Biden is extraordinarily strong. And
I'm sorry, on substance and policy and performance tonight, I mean, the president's performance tonight clearly was disappointing for his supporters. CNN is reporting Democratic lawmakers watching the debate were worried about the president's performance. One said it was a disaster. Another called it a train wreck. Those are Democrats especially worried that Biden did not punch back on Trump's lies.
Listen, people can debate on style points, but ultimately this election and who is the president of the United States has to be about substance. And the contrast is clear.
And we have certainly come very far since then. Joining me now, Abby Phillip, David Axelrod, Caitlin Collins, also Van Jones, Alyssa Farr Griffin, and Jamal Simmons. David, you've been vocal that the President Biden needed to step aside and talk about this historic moment.
You know, Anderson, it was interesting. I was flying to New York, and I got a text saying he's out, and the letter was sent to me, and my first impulse was to feel profound sadness.
I think the tough prosecutor narrative doesn't really work because Trump isn't an innocent black man, pothead, or a single mother. Nah, Americans are dumb as fuck, dude. Like, Americans are stupid as fuck, bro. They see convict and they're like, nope, I'm writing him off. I'm telling you. That's precisely the reason why when everyone was like, no, dude, Donald Trump getting convicted is actually going to help his chances. I was like, no, it's not. Have you met a fucking American? Like, they literally are so, they immediately write you off as a human being. Okay? It's not even a joke. It's disgusting. It's gross. But in this situation, it's kind of beneficial for the Democratic Party, at least. Americans also, despite my greater attempts, love cops. Like, they fucking love cops. Oh my God. Policing as an institution is one of the most popular institutions in this fucking nation, even though they are literally the laziest, the absolute consistently worst at their fucking jobs. It is crazy. If fry chefs were as bad at their jobs as cops are on a regular fucking frequency, we would be arresting. There would not be a McDonald's left in the country. Okay? We would abolish the institution. Like, they're just, but having said all of that, despite their glaringly obvious inefficiencies and overall disinterest in conducting their jobs in a normal fucking way, like bare minimum shit, Americans love cops and they fucking hate criminals, okay? They hate criminals. Like, they're just like, oh, you've done anything, you've done any crime, I can't look at you in the same way. They literally will be like, they literally will just be like, oh, dude, you're a single mother of 4 children and you stole a loaf of bread. You need the death penalty. That's the fucking energy that goddamn Americans, the goddamn Americans have. Once you are a convict, it takes a lot for you to redeem yourself in the eyes of the broader population. Nope, not except Donald Trump. We're not talking about the MAGA loyalists. They don't give a fuck. Donald Trump could film himself doing statutory, and American MAGA cult would still vote for him 100%. They'd be like, no, I do that too. I do that to my daughter's friends all the time, or I wish I could. He just got away with it, okay? I'm telling you, Donald Trump and his fan base is one thing, but his fan base alone is not going to carry him across the fucking finish line, okay? He needs moderates. He needs independents. He needs people that normally vote for the Republican Party to go out and vote for him. But unfortunately for him, they see him as too gross. Okay? He's gross as fuck. A lot of those people in the fucking margins, on the other hand, if you care about the legal process, Kamala was just granted all the 168 delegates unanimously from North Carolina, state number 2. Yeah. Odds are on a higher voter turnout? No shot. I do not believe that we will have a higher voter turnout this year than the last election cycle. The last election cycle was a one-off. It was a COVID election. It was Mickey Mouse rings. Let's be real, dude. It was the bubble ring for Joe Brandon. Okay? We will not have those numbers ever again. It was the COVID ring. Straight up. It just doesn't count. No way. Because mostly it wasn't just COVID, but it was also universal mail. Like, it was too easy for people to vote. Okay? It was far too easy. It was far too fucking easy for people to vote. And God damn it, our politicians hate that shit. Okay? They are not fans of that kind of thing. They're like, what? What do you mean? You mean to tell me that fucking poor people, brown people, black people can vote like that? No, we can't do that. Hasan confirms illegal voting and voter fraud. No. Unless you mean like increasing voter turnout is just, it's fucked up. Yeah.
show running perspective, he's got to know he's got his back up against the wall, and they've got to do something to change the narrative.
Alyssa, how do you think it's impacting his campaign?
The reality is Trump world has been overconfident. I frankly think the selection of J.D. Vance signaled an overconfidence, not choosing somebody who'd bring in some independents and moderates, more of a doubling down. This is an X factor that, yes, they're ready for it in the case that she's a known quantity, but this short runway actually favors her. The one thing I would predict is this: I think this will get incredibly ugly. You have the issues of race, you have the issues of gender when you have Kamala Harris involved, and I could see a world in which they go way too far on some of those issues and can massively alienate moderate voters.
Something's happening out there. Energy. $30 million raised already for Act Blue. Joteka Eddy, one of the great African-American powerhouses behind the scene, her Win with Black Women Sunday call crashed today because so many people were trying to get on that call. There's also something happening on TikTok. Trump owned Twitter. I think Kamala Harris is going to own TikTok. Young people are remixing her dancing. They're remixing some of her moments that we have found like, oh, this is cringy. Young people love it. They're putting "They Not Like Us" under those TikTok memes. They're putting "Get Information." Something is happening in terms of energy, and I think that would scare the jeebers out of the Trump campaign. The Trump campaign is scared tonight because something is happening now outside their calculations, outside their control. This thing could go outside of the control of the campaign. There could be a real movement here.
It's always been the case that you had two, unpopular, essentially an incumbent and a quasi.
Worst thing Kamala Harris could do in this moment is try to do that Dark Brandon shit and like lean into the memes, by the way. No, just be your goofy damn self, okay? But also be a little bit more, be a little bit better with your messaging, and just like don't try to make it happen. Don't try to lean into the fucking memes, please. Just you're goofy as hell on your own. I would say dial back the goofy a little bit. There'll still be some goofy shit. But just don't. Oh my God, I hope they don't try to fucking do that. I hope they don't try to lean into that shit. Please, 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 please. That would be devastating. All of that fucking free marketing gone overnight. Some dumbass right now in Kamala Harris's fucking campaign is already suggesting like, well, let's go out and, let's put coconut trees on the next stage that you go to. You know what I mean? It's like, don't do that. Don't fucking do that. Bad news for you. Vote Dark Brandon. They're definitely going to do that. Do you think she will adapt Biden's 100 days plan, rental cap, eliminate medical debt? I hope so. Because listen, longtime watchers know. I've said a couple things along this re-election. I've said a couple times that Biden, his message is good. He's just the fucking worst messenger. And like the elimination of medical debt and like rent caps, like rent control at the federal level, those are insanely good policies. Like shit that I personally love. I just hated hearing it from him because people kind of hate him for good reason, They hate him. So, like, sticking to those policies is surefire. Biden embraced the left to hang on. Let's hope she doesn't back off now. Yeah. For sure. Remember when Bernie was speaking? Now that's a person who can articulate the points well. Yeah. Kamala Harris can articulate that well too, by the way. I have no doubt that she could do that too. It's just that, like, I don't know. I feel like she's not very battle tested. I am still very much concerned with how she will. Is Twitter now real life? No, it's less real life than it even was before, and it certainly wasn't real life before. Like this. Here, is Twitter real life? Let's take a look.
Good afternoon. I want to welcome these leaders for coming in to have this very important discussion. about some of the most pressing issues of our time. I am Kamala Harris. My pronouns are she and her. I am a woman sitting at the table wearing a blue suit. And
like, that's disability accommodations, right? Wow, it's really fucked up. Can't believe she did that. Fucking owned. You know what I mean? This is a winning message, guys. Hey, banger one. RNC research. What a banger. RNC research. Thank you for the fucking banger, okay? No, that's going to move you across the finish line. You know what I mean? Like, let's be real, okay? I think the broad majority of Americans, there are people who are blind in the room. I know. The broad majority of Americans probably get annoyed when they see like trans activists chirp or disability activists chirp. But this is the other side of that equation, okay? This is the other side of that equation. It's like, what's it to you, bro? Let people be fucking accommodating. Like, what's wrong with you? Are you okay? What a fucking loser. Like, really? This is your winning message? Hey guys, what's up? I'm a fucking dickhead and I suck shit. And and I personally think that it's awful to be like accommodating to people. Hell yeah, I'm a fucking playground bully. It's like, bro, you are a fucking dumbass, okay? You're just a bad guy. You have presented yourself as a bad person. I hope you are happy. Also, Lobiga Hassan and Face Jason the Ween and Plaque Boy Mass Basketball 2v2 video is out. Is 18 minutes long. We might watch this after and reanalyze my game footage. Yeah, guys, Republicans went from saying Biden is old as shit to saying whatever this is. I think we have a really good shot here. No, that's what I said too earlier. Exactly. No, this is verbatim what I said earlier when I showed you James Lindsay's fucking take. Jason's community already made a dope emote of you. W Unk. Oh, let's go. Damn. Good take on that video retweeted by Edgar Mantum. It's so sick that Republicans are going to lose because they can't stop bullying people for 5 minutes. Yeah, no, literally. They just, dude, I'm telling you right now, it's not fucking 2016, man. It's not. There was 4 years of this shit. There was fucking 4 years of this shit when Trump was president, and it didn't move the needle for people. People's lives didn't get better. Okay? No. It's so fun. It's awesome. Really simple. Under discussed reason why Kamala Harris shouldn't be president. No children. And no, becoming a step parent to older teenagers doesn't count. That's great. That's great. That's awesome. I love that shit. That was my clip earlier. Let's get in the post lab and get you moving like Jokic and inside and outside Unk. I saw. What is this? Please do this, Unk. What the fuck is this? Bro, come on, bro. You're gonna get me fucking banned. I didn't even see what that was. No answer to question on everyone's minds. No, Kamala Harris does not have a doctorate in foreign affairs. She's the
is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So basically that's wrong.
Brilliant. Excuse me. All facts. Okay, all facts. No printer. I'm sorry. Can you point me to what's wrong with this statement? Talk your shit, Queen. It's illegal to be wrong? Yeah. Oh, I didn't realize. I didn't realize that I didn't realize that Republicans get mad when someone is, dumbing down dumbing down statements for them to understand. Bro, this is so funny. Okay, this is literally like you're just trying to say when you don't know what the fuck you're talking about and you're just trying to say things that that are factually accurate. Ukraine is a country in Europe. It exists next to another country called Russia. Russia is a bigger country. Russia is a powerful country. Russia decided to invade a smaller country called Ukraine. So that basically that's wrong. It's true. Stephen Miller is melting down on Fox.
People, they had ballots. They filled out circles. They went to the voting booths. They spent money on advertising.
This is so funny because, like, this argument, like, who are you making this argument to? To, like, people who are Biden or bust? Is that who? Like, I'm a Biden or buster. I'm an 85-year-old Democratic Party loyalist, okay? I voted for the Democratic Party in every primary, and I voted for the Democratic Party in every general election. I will never stop voting for the Democratic Party. And I also happen to watch Fox News, and I take this Stephen Miller guy who was Donald Trump's immigration czar, okay, very seriously. And I think this bald man, who is a literal Nazi, by the way, I take him very seriously. He's right. He's right. I am mad. I voted for Biden in the primary. I voted. Wait, you literally said you won't. What? You literally said you won't vote for Biden? Oh my God. People do. I'm making a joke, man. I'm not an 85-year-old lifelong Democratic Party voter, dumbass. I'm saying in this scenario, you have to like, who's he talking to? Who's he talking to? He's talking to a hypothetical 85-year-old who's like always voted for the Democratic Party, who's now like, well, I cast my ballot in the primaries for Joe Biden, and I'm really disappointed. I'm really disappointed. My expectations were that Joe Biden would be the president. I care about that sort of thing and not voting for whoever the Democrat is.
And as President Trump said, the Republican Party spent tens of millions of dollars running against Joe Biden.
Oh, this part's really awesome. Oh, dude, I'm sorry. Are you out of money? Can you no longer avoid the ads at the top of the hour? Oh, did you waste all your purse on Joe Biden? Oh, man, that's so... He's like, I want a rerun. It's unfair. Why did they go ahead and change who the candidate is? That's so mad. I'm so mad. Now I have to sit through 3 minutes of ads at the HasanAbi broadcast. Yeah. In the words of Pokemon, if you're a broke boy, just say so, Stephen Miller. Okay? The 3-minute ad break comes for you, though. Unless you get gifted a sub if you're lucky. Thank you, Jacob Johns, for the 5 gifted subs, allowing 5 people to no longer see the ads at the top of the hour. Here's the 3-minute ad break now. This is the only timeline where Republicans are unironically riding for Biden. I mean, this was pretty obvious. They were already like behind the scenes trying to lock him in. Democrats just canceled democracy. They threw out an entire primary and used donor extortion to do so, like a third world state. Yo, who is this for, brother? This only works for Bernie or busters. Like a person who actually deviates from the Democratic Party and like represents different interests. Even if you don't believe Bernie Sanders is genuine, which many people do, obviously, like Joe Biden is basically fucking, he has his roots in the Democratic Party. He's a calcified institutionalist. His replacement being made in the hands of the Democratic Party implies that all of his voters will unironically go and excitedly vote for whoever the fuck the replacement is. Like, this only works to drive a wedge between like people who really wanted Bernie Sanders or a type of person like Bernie Sanders who actually has like different policy prescriptions, like a different agenda. Okay? Did you say this only works for Bernie or Busters? Yes. And even then it didn't work. But I'm just saying, like, the likelihood that someone votes not for whoever the Democratic Party's candidate is after they have voted for Joe Biden is even lower than the likelihood of Bernie voters that will not vote for whoever is the candidate. Major Biden donor John Morgan tells ABC News he won't fundraise for Harris if she's the nominee. Okay. Oh, no. I think they'll be all right. The only reason why the donor voices were significant in this process was because they were reflective of the broader population sentiment towards the Democratic presidential candidate, the likely candidate. They've raised like $50 million in a matter of hours since Biden dropped out. Okay. Yeah, I'm sure there'll be some naysayers. There's also some fucking dumbasses who are like, yeah, Joe Manchin would be great. We should put him in charge because you're the dumbest person on the planet. God, I hate Joe Manchin so much. Le Whimsical Coconut Lady has raised $5 million from AIPAC, by the way. Listen, Le Whimsical Coconut Lady, and like I said, I don't know what she's going to do in terms of Israel-Palestine, but it is pretty significant for her to have already stated that she was down for a ceasefire far before Joe Biden ever said it, when she was the vice president of Joe Biden. Okay? And there was no world where Joe Biden was fucking dropping out or anything. We'll see what happens. I'm not saying that like Kamala Harris is going to fucking deliver a free Palestine or some shit. I'm not saying that at all. Are psychos really trying to promote Manchin now? Nah, just Matty Iglesias, who's allergic to having good takes. What?
People who are pushing for this to happen. It's kind of like when you're